Hello, I'm Simon Whistler. You're watching TopTenzNet, and in the video today, the top 10 facts about the little-known Alaska Triangle. We've all heard of the Bermuda Triangle, but surprisingly, there's also an Alaska Triangle. This mysterious triangle is the location of countless disappearances of people, planes, and boats that have never been found or heard from again. There are many theories regarding the explanation of so many missing people, such as the land being located on a vortex, and of course, we have to mention that mythical creatures are said to cause some of these disappearances. The Alaska Triangle is a huge area full of unsolved mysteries that nobody can explain, and that's why it's such an interesting and complex location. In the video today, we're looking at 10 interesting facts about the mysterious Alaska Triangle. Number 10. The location of the Alaska Triangle. The Alaska Triangle covers a huge area of the state, from the southeast area close to Juneau to the northern region of the Barrow Mountain Range and also to the city of Anchorage. Inside the triangle, there is a huge amount of unexplored wilderness, which includes mountain peaks, large forests, and isolated barren tundra. The area has a large amount of local people who live there, as well as tourists visiting the location who inexplicably go missing every year. There have also been numerous planes that have disappeared or crashed without any explanation. As a matter of fact, since 1988, there have been approximately 16,000 people who have vanished seemingly into thin air in the mysterious Alaska Triangle. Number 9. Alaska Monsters. There was even a television series based on the Alaska Triangle and its dangerous animals that live in the area. The show is called Alaska Monsters, and it's about a team of 6 experienced frontiersmen called the Alaska Midnight Suns, or AMS for short, who explore the vast wilderness in hopes of finding dangerous creatures lurking in the forests. Since many people believe that there are dangerous and mysterious creatures living in the huge forests of Alaska, AMS's job is to investigate the Triangle area and find evidence of these beasts. Indeed, many people believe that they are the reason that people disappear in the area every year. These frontiersmen are responsible for investigating leads, conducting interviews with locals, and even tracking footprints. One common theory is that Bigfoot actually lives in the remote areas of the wilderness. Number 8. Is Bigfoot to blame? With huge amounts of forests and uncharted wilderness, Alaska is certainly a perfect location for Bigfoot, also known as Sasquatch, to hide out. There are numerous reports of Bigfoot sightings throughout the entire state. Some reports include evidence of nesting sites, a possible Bigfoot skeleton, and unidentified hair samples. Some witnesses have even reported seeing a swimming Sasquatch during their encounters. Some villagers have even relocated as a result of terrifying encounters with Bigfoot, which is surprising because the common understanding is that the creature prefers isolated areas and is in general quite peaceful. If Bigfoot is as confrontational as people in Alaska claim it to be, it's possible that this creature is perhaps the reason why some people go missing, especially in the wilderness, if they have come face to face with it. Number 7. The Theory of the Otterman. There are many different theories regarding all of the disappearances in the Alaska Triangle, and one of them includes the evil spirits associated with the native Tlingit people. These people are said to have origins dating back to 11,000 years ago. Their name, Tlingit, means people of the tides. These people believe that there is a shape-shifting demon called Kushtaka, who is a cross between a man and an otter. It is said to lure people to their impending doom by attracting lost people to the water by portraying children or women who are screaming for help. It is also said that when the Kushtaka, also known as the Otterman, captures these people, it then steals their souls. It's folklore that of course has never been proven, but it's still a frightening thought, to say the least. Number 6. A UFO flew right through the triangle. In 1986, a Japanese plane was flying from Iceland to Anchorage, Alaska, when it came across 3 UFOs. The 3 unidentified flying objects followed the airliner for approximately 400 miles right through the Alaska Triangle. One of the objects was said to be twice the size of an aircraft carrier, while the other 2 were smaller in size. The crew reported seeing flashing lights following their plane, and air traffic controllers also witnessed something unidentifiable on their radar that was reportedly as close as 5 miles away from the plane. The pilot claimed that at one point the 2 smaller ships appeared directly in front of the plane at pretty close range. He described the 2 small ships and the mothership disappearing and reappearing quickly, moving fast and stopping suddenly, which is impossible for a normal airliner to do. In order to escape the UFOs, the pilot received permission from the ground crew to fly at a lower altitude while making several turns in order to elude the objects. But nothing he did led to them escaping. After about 32 minutes, though, the UFOs disappeared, although the pilot claimed that he thought the entire encounter lasted much longer than that. Number 5. Energy vortexes. Some believe that the Alaska Triangle is located in vile vortices, which means that it has extreme electric, magnetic, and electromagnetic anomalies in addition to energy vortexes, which are electromagnetic currents. One example of vile vortices is the Bermuda Triangle. However, several other places on the planet are said to have it as well, such as the Devil's Sea in Japan and the North and South Poles. Other famous destinations that are said to lie on vortices are Easter Island, Stonehenge, and the Pyramids of Egypt. In fact, some people believe that the reason why these monuments were built in the first place was because they are located on a vortex. Energy vortexes are said to cause different effects on people's bodies, such as affecting their mental, physical, and emotional health, as well as causing hallucinations, visions, confusion, and disorientation. In addition, some people have said that electrical instruments and compasses can malfunction near these vortexes. Another belief is that vortexes can open doorways to the spiritual world or another realm, which could possibly explain why so many people disappear in these regions. Number 4. Vast wilderness. The state of Alaska has huge amounts of wilderness. The rigid landscapes include hazardous terrain and dangerous wild animals, in addition to the harsh weather. It is also home to approximately 100 active volcanoes. Needless to say, it's dangerous to camp or hike there, since it's very easy to get lost in the wilderness with the added threat of the dangerous animals that lurk in the forests. Surviving the Alaskan wilderness isn't easy, and unfortunately for those who get lost, getting found it's next to impossible. Search and rescue teams have a very difficult time locating people with the complications from the vast wilderness. There are many inaccessible locations on the mountains, as well as unpredictable weather. For example, some areas can get as low as minus 40 degrees in the winter. Now, this probably makes the most sense of all of the theories that are put forward. Number 3. Astonishing numbers of missing people. Alaska has more missing persons reported each year than anywhere else in the United States. In fact, it's twice the number of the national average. What's even more eerie is that this state also has the largest number of missing people who are never found again. For example, in 2007, there were 2,833 people who were reported missing in Alaska. And at that time, the entire state had an overall population of approximately 670,000 people. This averaged out at a frightening statistic of 4 people in every 1,000 go missing. That's an incredibly high number of disappearances considering the relatively low number of people living in the state. For comparison, just the city of San Francisco alone has a higher population than the entire state of Alaska. Number 2. The Vanishing Plane of 1972. One of the most famous disappearances in the Alaska Triangle happens in October of 1972, when a plane vanished while carrying 2 very important people, the House Majority Leader Hale Boggs and Representative Nick Begich. Aboard the plane was also an aide named Russell Brown, as well as their pilot Don Johns. The airplane, described as a Cessna 310 aircraft, disappeared while flying from Anchorage to Juneau. After their plane went missing, there was a huge search, which lasted 39 days and included more than 400 aircraft as well as numerous boats. But even after all of that searching, there were no signs of the missing plane or the passengers. There was a conspiracy theory circulating for a while claiming that the crash was intentional and it was covered up by the FBI, specifically J. Edgar Hoover, who was said to be involved in a power struggle with Hale Boggs. Number 1. It's still a popular tourist attraction. Despite the endless reports of people disappearing in Alaska, that's obviously not a worry for travelers because according to reports, the tourism industry is at an all-time high. The state has become a very popular tourist destination, and while the visitor sector has continued to grow in the past several years, it is predicted to grow another 6% this year, that's 2018. In conclusion, it's safe to say that the Alaska Triangle is a very mysterious area with a staggering number of people, boats, and planes going missing over the years that are never seen again. While there are many theories as to what caused these disappearances, from mythical creatures such as half-men, half-otter creatures to Bigfoot and even UFOs and aliens, there may just be a natural explanation such as a vortex or, bad weather. Whatever you believe though, one thing is for certain. Alaska is a beautiful state riddled with unanswered questions and many secrets. So I really hope you enjoyed that video, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel for brand new videos every day of the week. Also, I've got another channel, it's called Biographics. It's biographies of notable people from the present day, as well as history from Elon Musk to Osama bin Laden. You can check it out through the icon on the screen now. But if you want something else to watch right now, why not check out another TopTenz video or a Biographics video over there on the right. And as always, thank you for watching.